Employers Network. 200 people in the Employers Network is quite an achievement, I think. Proves we're doing something right. I think we're only in. I think this is our 18th month of the Employers Network. So welcome. Thanks for coming. And again, at the end of this session, we're going to do a bit of a discussion to see what you'd like to see next as well. Kind of tell us how we've done and what you'd like to see next. So our agenda for today, we have got a packed agenda, and we have got quite a few speakers today. We're going to go through a Careers Hub update from the Liverpool City Region Careers Hub, a little look at the new employer standards that have come out from the Careers and Enterprise Company. We've got another speaker. We've got Gareth talking about skills bootcamps. We've got an amazing presentation by Fusion 21, the lovely Lauren, talking about social value and some of the stuff they've been doing. And then we're going to do our kind of discussion looking at our goals for the new year. And that's not about treadmills, getting fit, or stopping eating chocolate and cheese. It's about what we're going to do to inspire the next generation, looking at skills and careers in our schools, colleges and beyond. So, as I say, really packed agenda. Without further ado, let me introduce Jill Walsh. She's going to be talking a little bit around the Careers Hub and the Employee Standards. Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Michelle. Morning, everybody, and a happy new year for those of you who've only come back this week, which I have. So I just want to give you a bit of an update, really. We've completed our term 1 from September to December, and our results have come in terms of the progress that we're making against the Gatsby benchmarks. So I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update on how that's looking for the next few months as we move forward into term 2. And then I'm just going to give you a little bit of an update on the employer standards, which for those of you that attended our conference that we talked around, and hopefully we can pick that up as we move forward again this year. So the first few slides is obviously just the details that you'll be aware of now around the hub. We're connected into 141 schools and colleges, and obviously our strategic partners that support us in the important work that we do. I've then kept the next couple of slides in around our priorities, which again, I know we've covered these numerous occasions before, around our 5 key priorities around our improving our careers, the quality and the level of support that we get through our employers, which obviously is the importance of us having our employer network. And it's great when Michelle mentions that, 200 supporters to the network, but also the amount of work that's actually going on as well. And Charlotte's with me as well today from the hub, who's going to give you a bit of an update on some of that work through our Give an Hour campaign as well. And again, our building blocks. So you'll see there's some of the work that we're doing, and I'm going to touch on the one there under experience with employers around employer standards today as well. So those slides haven't really changed. So just moving on. So the Gatsby benchmarks, for any of you that are new here today who've joined us, and I know we've had some new joiners over the past couple of months. The Gatsby benchmarks are the framework that our schools are working towards, and these really kind of support the planning across all of our year groups on how we're ensuring that our young people are getting that insight into the world of work, and how the interactions between yourselves and what's happening within industry and the work that's going on across Liverpool City Region, how we're kind of trying to get them excited, looking at their future aspirations, and how do we inspire them in terms of where they want to go next and their future pathways as well for college, apprenticeships, into university or straight into work. So I know the dashboard is there's always quite a lot of data on it, but again, hopefully keep giving you the same information. I'm just trying to give you an overview really on how we are tracking and monitoring, but also looking at the quality of what delivery is actually happening across our schools. And just to point out a couple of key areas for you there. So the top left-hand corner talks around the 141 schools that are within the hub. The middle section under benchmark performance, there where the colours are, that shows you how many of our schools are actually achieving either between 0 and 8 of the benchmarks. And what we're trying to do, obviously, is to encourage our schools with the work that they're doing to actually achieve more and more as we move forward. So we've now got 29 schools hitting all 8 Gatsby benchmarks, which is absolutely fantastic. But that's kind of a minimum standard. So although they're hitting the 8 benchmarks, how do we then improve that year on year? And what does the work that they're doing with employers, with school engagement, what is it looking like, and how are we maintaining that and developing it? As we know, across Liverpool City region, there's lots of opportunities, there's lots of development within our growth sectors and a lot of the work that's happening. So we need to keep moving that and ensuring that our schools and colleges and our young people are actually aware of what's actually coming down the line 2 years, 3 years, 5 years in development. So really pleased in terms of where we are. And sorry, Gemma, just going back, just the middle part that says average benchmarks achieved at 5.7. So we've got an average benchmark of 5.7. That national average next to it, actually, I think there's been a little bit of an error there. I think it's actually averaging around about 5.5. So as a region, we are above national average across the rest of the hubs across the country. And then underneath there, you'll see it actually displays each of the benchmarks and where we are against achievement as well. So performance is good. It's around the quality as well that sits within those numbers. And then the next slide then really just gives you an indication of our performance. We're now on our 6th year of the hub. So we've actually been on a progression. A little bit of a dip, as you'll see there, when COVID hit us, but the idea for us is to maintain and just keep on, now that we're getting to the, I suppose, more schools hitting more of the benchmarks, it's around how we just keep really stepping that up slightly, term on term, really, as we move forward. So really positive. And I think the work that goes into that around benchmark 5, 6 and 7, around that support from employers, is the key bit. And it's great that the work that you're doing is supporting, and that's actually coming through within the data that we're actually getting as well. So then I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on some of that, and Charlotte within the hub team leads on our Give an Hour campaign, our volunteering. So I just wanted to hand over to Charlotte just to give you a little bit of an update on what's been happening, and if you've never engaged before, how you can engage with our Give an Hour. Charlotte.
Thanks, Jill. Hi, everyone. I'm Charlotte from the Careers Hub, work alongside Jill. So Give an Hour campaign, I think a few of you on this call might already know about this. It is what it says on the tin. It's giving back an hour of your time to make a difference in schools and colleges. So that can involve things such as supporting mock interviews, career talks, talking about your career journey, a lot of career fairs, coffee morning and assembly talks. It supports Benchmark 5, which links with encounters with employers. So it's an operational volunteering scheme. So you will opt in to support an event in the region. We have 222 volunteers currently signed up, which is brilliant. We get new volunteers through every day. And we have had 225 volunteers supporting schools and colleges and 47 links in last year. So it's really ramping up, which is brilliant to see, so many people supporting those schools and colleges. So it's just a great way to get involved. If you want to get your foot in the door supporting a certain school or college, more than happy to have a chat with you and how the process works. And I think there's another slide, is the Gemma. So this is just a bit about the way the process works. So what happens is you'll sign up via the Give an Hour link, which we'll share after this meeting. And it's all postcode driven. So hubs across the country have Give an Hour. So just make sure you put in a Liverpool City region postcode. We'll get your referral through. You'll be on our mailing list. And what happens then, every couple of weeks, you'll get sent this calendar of activities. So you can have a look through if any events on your doorstep or any in your area you live in, you can then let me know if you want to volunteer for that event, and I'll link you up with that school or college. So it goes from in date order, but at the top we've got ongoing events. These seem to be more popular with employers because they're fairly flexible. You can pick a date that suits you and the school, so we can link you up there, and then it's all in date order. So there's a lot going on. We've got a lot, I think, up to maybe like July this year. So we'll share the link after this meeting, and if you want to have a chat just between the two of us, more than happy to pick that up. And that's it. Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Charlotte. Thank you. I think the great flexibility with the given hour is that it enables you to match it into your diaries, and as well, you know, sometimes from a volunteer perspective, it's nice to be able to dip in and out of different schools and colleges as well. Gives you a little bit, you know, if you want to go into a mainstream, if you want to focus on maybe some of our special education needs schools, it gives you that option and flexibility. But please, yeah, pick up and speak with Charlotte if you want any further details. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on some of the programmes that we're just currently finalising, and some of the key areas that we're going to be supporting over the next few months as well, to try and actually get more engagement and more experience of the workplace for our young people. So we've got some work going on within digital and creative, that we got some additional funding through Careers and Enterprise Company from the DFE. So we're going to be looking to create 650 student placements before the end of summer. Part of this is running alongside our Game Changers, which is the work we're doing within the gaming industry. So we're going to have 400 students. They'll get kind of a one-day event, but we'll be interacting with a number of different gaming studios within that day. And it's all around developing some kind of project during that day for those students, and learning and understanding about the skills to work within that industry, all the different types of jobs, whether that's specifically gaming or some of like the back office jobs as well. And then also we're going to do some of those placements as well within advanced manufacturing and innovation as well. So we're just finalising the procurement for the delivery, and once we've done that, then we'll be looking at the schools where we've got an opportunity for them to actually develop the benchmark 6, so schools that possibly haven't quite got enough placements for their young people. And we're also going to mix a little bit around the age range as well, from year 10 upwards, and maybe look at some opportunities within our year 7 and 9s as well for our younger students as well. So we've also got some work happening as well with NHS England, where we're going to do a week of work experience for 250 students. That's going to be hosted out at Hope University, but they'll get an opportunity to experience around about 10 disciplines. They'll maybe get 3 or 4 during the week, but very much they'll come on a Monday and a Friday, and it will be like being in work for the whole week. So again, we've got 250 placements for that. And we've just started some work where we're doing a pilot with ourselves in Devon and Cornwall, where we're actually looking at working with some of our independent training providers and looking at whether the process of what we currently do across our 141 institutions, how that lends itself to working alongside independent training providers, for them to be able to support their 16 to 18-year-olds, either apprentices and other traineeship programs and things like that, how they're delivering information, advice and guidance with those students, and how does that link through with the Gatsby benchmark framework. I think I need to, I've spelt that wrong as well there. So we've started that work, and the Greater Merseyside Learning Provider Federation are actually delivering that piece of work, and we've brought together the 20 independent training providers. So again, we'll be providing more details on this as we move forward. And then finally, we're just about to start some primary work, which is Start Small, Dream Big. So we're looking at supporting our 220 of our 435 primaries, but this is very much around teachers developing knowledge, skills and confidence in leading career-related learning. So it's slightly different to the way that we work across our mainstream and colleges, but that work again is going to be on kind of like wave 3 of the pilot, which is starting this year. So it's great, I think, that from an employer perspective as well, that some of you want to be working at a younger age, and we're going to be able to kind of facilitate and start to expand that as we move that programme out across the next 12 months. So we know how important it is to do education and skills and careers at a younger age. So you can see obviously how that's evolving. The final thing I just really wanted to cover today is we launched, the Careers Enterprise Company launched the Employer Standards for Careers Education in November, and we'll mostly maybe put a masterclass on as we move through this during the year. Just moving to the next slide, Gemma. So the standards, it's about understanding in a way how the careers provision, how that actually affects the outcomes for young people and also for business. So when I'm talking to you about the great work we're doing, how we need your support, as it says on there, you can see there that a young person who actually has 4 or more encounters with an employer is 86% less likely to be unemployed and can earn more during their career. So this is why it's really important that there are all the different age groups, that we can actually get interaction happening between employers, employees, and our young people. And then there's also the give back, I think, in terms of you as employers. So around how you can look at your early years recruitment, your workforce, the diversity of that, and skills gaps. And for me as well, this is a great way from from a peer-to-peer perspective as well, for you to actually be developing your workforce as continual professional development as well. So yes, we benefit from it, and the schools and colleges do, but also you as an employer. So the standards that have been created have been tested, have been piloted during the last 12 months, and actually all of our cornerstone employers have also tested them as well. They're split into 3 categories, and the survey basically runs through, there's 9 areas across those three standards that are within it. And it's about you as a business actually looking at what are you currently doing and maybe identifying the gaps and the opportunities that you might want to do. Just moving on. So basically, it's a framework to follow. It takes about 25 minutes to actually do the actual survey. It's about a way of raising the quality, or maybe just looking at you as an employer about what you're currently doing and what you think you want to do more of, less of. It's a great way to obviously look at best practice. And as I said before, there's 9 areas that actually go through that process. So there is an employer portal that you log on to, where you actually go through the actual assessment. As I said on there, it takes 25 minutes. And then the next couple of slides really just kind of show you, and we're going to share these, around what it looks like, the self-assessment questions. So obviously there'll be quite a lot of different questions across the 9 areas. You then get a set of results as an individual company. And then what it'll then show you as well is within that tool is that you can actually look at how do you compare to someone similar within your industry locally. You can also then compare nationally, regionally, and nationally. So again, if you're an employer that's thinking about, can we do more, or is what we're doing right, by actually picking up and doing the assessment, you can kind of benchmark yourselves as well. And once you've actually done the assessment, it then sort of opens the gateway in terms of you being able to access. There's different resources that are within the toolkit for you as an organisation to access, which is on some of the next slides as well. So there's different types of resources. So what's next, really? I suppose we have been posting some social medias, and we're going to start to pick that up now as we move forward. Obviously, again, if any of you've got any questions around looking at the employer toolkit and want to know or want to look at it in a little bit more detail, obviously we've got our enterprise advisors as well that can actually use and share this with contacts within their employment. But we would really like to get as many of you from our employer network to actually maybe go on and actually have a look at the assessment. And see actually how you're finding the toolkit, whether it helps you as an organisation to be able to do more and develop more. I know that myself and Michelle, we're going to sit down and we're actually going to look at this from an all about STEM perspective, and maybe we'll come back to it again and give you a bit of a feedback on what kind of comes out from that review as well. So I'll share that, but if anybody's got any further questions, more than happy at any point to pick them up or go via Michelle, and we'll come back to you. That's my update, Michelle.
Thanks, Jill. Absolutely tons of information in there. We are going to make sure that everybody's got the recording of this to go back to reference. And as always, if you've got any further questions on anything that we've spoke about there, get in touch with me, Gemma, Jill. We can point you in the right direction. One of the important things in that was, like, we do talk a lot about the kind of Give an Hour programme and the impact that these things have on our schools and colleges. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's got the information and knows who to contact, because our schools have got plenty of requests in and they are ramping up. Now, again, trying to stick to time, we've got another great speaker for you. I'm going to introduce Gareth Jones from the Combined Authority, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about skills bootcamps. Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks, Michelle. Nice to see you again. It's been a little while. Jem, if you could just move slide on. So yeah, I'm the program manager for the Skills Bootcamp program here at the Combined Authority. I head up a team of about 10 of us all together, and we look after some delegated funding that we get from the Department for Education to run the Skills Bootcamps program locally. Can you move me on, please, Gemma? So what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover some basics about what is a Skills Bootcamp, a little bit of background for you, and some detail about the project so far, some details about the sectors that Skills Bootcamps training can take place in, a little bit about eligibility and how you can get involved in Skills Bootcamps programs. So the basis of a Skills Bootcamp is that there's basically 3 elements to it, as you can see on the screen. So there's some sector-specific training that takes place, followed by a guaranteed job interview, followed by a job outcome. In a nutshell, that's what a Skills Bootcamp program is. The most important thing, I think, is that line at the bottom there, which is it's an employer-led program. The employer will be involved in designing the training that's going to take place. They'll obviously be involved in the interview, and hopefully, obviously, be involved in giving people work as well. So they'll be involved throughout that program process, and it works the best way when an employer is involved. Ultimately, they are courses that are up to 16 weeks long. They don't have to be 16 weeks long. They can be full-time, they can be part-time. Generally, there are levels 3 to 5 or equivalent qualifications. And the aim is that it's to build up sector-specific skills that people might be lacking, which enables them then to fast track to an interview with local employers to help fill skills gaps that those employers might have. And obviously, locally, we have some private sectors that we address, and also we respond to some national programs as well. But ultimately, the aim is to try and address the needs of local businesses and support the city region economy, ultimately. So training on Skills Bootcamps has to be a minimum of 60 guiding learning hours. So effectively, that's time spent being taught by a lecturer or tutor. So they're quite shortish programs. Training is accessed free of charge to any individual who's unemployed, are looking for a career change or return to the labour market. Equally, employers can use this Skills Bootcamp training to upskill their existing staff. And if they do that, they are required to contribute towards the cost of the training. So it's 10% for SMEs and 30% for large companies. For employers who recruit individuals who've participated in boot camps, though, there's no cost. So actually, it's a really, really good way of employers effectively relying on some training to provide some skills, which then enable them to recruit staff into job roles. And for our training providers that we work with, they're paid across 3 milestones, which are linked to some of the training starting, the training then being completed and interviews taking place, and then finally the job outcome. So a little bit of background in terms of the project so far locally. So this is a post-COVID program. I say post-COVID, we're clearly still in it because we're all still getting it. But it was originally ran back in October 2020. It's a financial year program. DFE called them waves. So wave 1 was back in October 2020. And then we've run since wave 2, wave 3, and we're currently in wave 4, and about to head into wave 5. The city region was one of 6 regions to pilot Skills Bootcamps back in October 2020. And then they were rolled out nationwide the year later. Locally, we've trained over 2,000 individuals on Skills Bootcamps. I think the program itself is a little bit hidden, dare I say. People aren't necessarily aware of it, but you can see there's an awful lot of individuals that have benefited from it. It's all subject to Ofsted nowadays. There was a study undertaken and published by Ofsted probably 18 months ago now. And then from April last year, any training provider delivering Skills Bootcamp training, like schools, like colleges, are all subject to Ofsted inspections. As I said before, it's generally at level 3 to 5. However, some subjects can be at level 2, so construction, for example. And equally, it can be accredited against qualifications with City Guilds or Pearsons or whoever it might be, or actually it can be bespoke training that an employer requires. That might be linked to vendor training, or might be linked to some specific skills needs that they need. Delivery is very flexible. As I said at the start, it can be part-time, it can be full-time, it can be online, it can be face-to-face, it can be the evenings, it can be the weekends. All our boot camps that we run are different, and there's lots of different methods that take place in terms of delivery. We've got a chunk of funding. So this year we've got £8.2 million worth of funding to deliver skills boot camps in the city region. And that's going to increase next year with a little bit of luck. And then from April 2023, we were able to, we ran a national program locally, basically. And then from April last year, we were given some flexibility to enable us to deliver part of our program to address some local priority sectors for us in the city region. You can move forward, please, Gemma. So one thing that we can't do is we can't deliver in all areas. So we've got certain sectors that we have to deliver in. And this little table kind of shows you where they were. So if we cover the first two columns effectively, first of all, they are effectively the national program that rolls out. So all the combined authorities across the country, a lot of LEP areas across the country deliver skills boot camps training. But there's also some national DFE contracts as well. And they cover those sectors there. So digital, engineering, manufacturing, which have to be at level 3. And then at level 2, construction, green skills, HGV and rail, they can take place there. And then locally, we have some private sectors, which you'll probably recognise as common ones. So visitor economy, for example. But we're also covering health and social care, which is predominantly life sciences, which links into the investment zones that are coming into the city, creative and design, and some cross-cutting themes in leadership and management, as well as professional services, which are your finance and legal side of things. And then from April 2024, not too far away, we've got some more sectors coming on board. So project management, sales, marketing, procurement, and we're hoping to do some stuff in early years, childcare, alongside the free port, which obviously again is an emerging sector for us in the city region. So there's quite a lot of sectors covered, but we don't cover everything. In terms of eligibility for the programs, I've kind of categorized this into 3 sectors. So for someone who's employed, the employer must have a workplace in the city region. For somebody who's self-employed, they must be based in the city region. However, for somebody who's an individual who might be a career changer or return to work or unemployed, they must be a city region resident. Obviously, that's all about either supporting local businesses or supporting local residences. So for somebody who's employed, an employer's putting them forward to go on a skills bootcamp to reskill or develop their role. As I said before, there's a subsidy required, 90% for SMEs, 70% for large businesses. In terms of what that means in reality, the cost of our skills bootcamps range from £1,000 up to £5,000. So you can kind of see the sort of levels of commitment from an employer point of view. But obviously, it's a significant subsidy still in terms of some of the training that you may want. For somebody who's self-employed, it's fully funded. For individuals, it's fully funded. It's a 19-plus program, so it's for those who are aged 19-plus by the 31st of August 2023. That's for this financial year. They must have the right to work in the UK, etc., etc. And even if they are enrolled on another program like Restart or an apprenticeship, they are eligible if there's no repetition between the learning. So, for example, if somebody's on an apprenticeship program and an employer wants to do something that's outside the scope of the apprenticeship, Skills Bootcamp is an option for them to do that. Thanks, Gemma. So how to get involved? Well, we've got, as I said before, we've got a team of 10 of us here. And if you're looking to recruit new staff or upskill existing staff, then you can register their interest through the Skills Bootcamp generic email box there. One of our skills brokers will then get in touch with you to discuss your requirements. If you're working with a training organisation, fine. But equally, we can work to find training providers. We use a DPS system where we run call-off tenders to find training providers to deliver training, or alternatively, your existing training provider can actually register on our DPS, and potentially we can contract directly if it meets certain requirements. So there's plenty of ways to get involved. The program runs throughout the year. We've got lots of flexibility about when programs start and end, not necessarily like FE college courses, which might all start in September, for example. We have programs starting and finishing throughout the year. So there's lots and lots of flexibility around how the program can offer. Sorry, Jenna, I should have said to move me forward. Okay, so where can you get some more information? So on the CA's BMO website, we have a section there which has detail of all those sectors. It even lists what current boot camps are on offer locally, and there's a sector there, or you can register an interest on that website, or even use that QR code to move forward. I think the final slide is just a thank you. He says it is. Trying to remember your slides is always very difficult, isn't it? But there's the email again for you to get in touch, and obviously one of the team will be more than happy to help you out with any specific queries or inquiries you have. In terms of skills bootcamps, we know we've got funding for at least another financial year. there's an election happening this year, so everything gets thrown up in the air a little bit, but hopefully we're hoping that we'll get at least another year beyond that, and hopefully more years, because it has been a successful program for us. We've, like I said, we've delivered over 2,000, probably nearer 3,000 learners this year actually by now. So it's been a really, really successful program, and one we hope to continue for a long time. So thank you.
Brilliant. Oh, thanks very much for coming along, Gareth. I think that was a great point, well put. I think a lot of the time as employers in the Liverpool City region, we don't find out about everything all the time, and we don't know what process, who the right person to get in touch with. I hope that has been really informative for everybody on the call today. And again, we send the recording out to the people that can't come to the call as well. We want to do more stuff like this to make sure that employees in the Liverpool City region understand exactly what it is that they can access. And as you say, it's not insignificant funding towards any boot camps. Obviously we've got the contacts there, and if anybody's got any further questions, as I say, you can always get in touch with us, and we will make sure your question is directed to the right place. Okay, trying to keep on time. Next up, we've got Lauren from Fusion 21, and I am not going to spoil the surprise. I'm going to hand over to Lauren, and she's going to talk a little bit about what Fusion 21 are doing, and look a little bit around social value as well. Over to you, Lauren.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Lauren Banner. I work for a company based in Knowsley called Fusion 21. Some of you may have heard of us already. If not, I'll run through that in a second. So the session today, I just wanted to talk about delivering social value and how that supports education and careers provision, and particularly working with partners such as the Careers Hub, and how that can really bolster your social value and the efforts that you've got if you've got contracts in place. And so I just wanted to give you some examples of how that's worked for us as well. So a little bit about us. So Fusion 21, we are a national company predominantly based around procurement frameworks, and we support people to enhance their social value delivery through procurement. The other side of that is the side that I work with, which is where we work with social value through the planning system. So my side of the business is pretty much predominantly based around construction. So I work with our contract with Knowsley Council at the moment, so part of the city region, and they have within their SPDs and planning permissions that they that contractors and new developments in the Knowsley area work with Fusion 21 to support the delivery of social value and monitoring that as well. So it just means that particularly the Knowsley area and the partners and the residents that we work with get the most out of these developments that are coming into the area, really. So that is through careers and education support and some other things that I'll run through in a second. We do also have our own foundation as well, so they work with the framework members to deliver activities and support to residents, and we do have a members consortium as well on the procurement side. So two sides of the coin there, really, delivering social value, but today I'll be talking about our work in Knowsley and the work that we do through the planning system and delivering social value through that way. So just a little bit of a recap in case some of you haven't heard of social value before. It's really coming into play now within contracts, and also just being a good employer as well. Delivering social value is a really targeted way to improve local area communities, and also CSR and things like that. So just a brief overview of what social value is. It does refer to the positive impact and benefits that an organisation, project or initiative generates for society and the community that goes beyond financial return. So it's above and beyond what the contractor is delivering in itself. It's beyond that. It's what is improving the community in terms of regeneration and things like that. So why social value, and why social value over a CSR and things like that? And it is contractually binding in some cases, and it really does foster community cohesion, ensuring residents benefit from regeneration with the local area, particularly work that we do where we support new developments in the Knowsley area. It's supporting that regeneration and that whole view of supporting residents in the area as well. It supports for education and skills building as well. So a lot of the stuff that's been talked about today, that very much links into social value. It also promotes economic stability by promoting ethical practices and local investment as well. It also contributes to environmental and sustainability through conscious initiatives to support different sustainability activities within business or construction. So we deliver social value a little bit differently, particularly through our social value through planning service with Knowsley Council. So we take very much a partnership approach, which is how our relationship with the Careers Hub came about. We are very much matchmakers in the community, so we will really listen to what is going on in the local area. Obviously this example is Knowsley, so we'll make sure that we know exactly what is going on in the area through steering groups and speaking to different partners to really deep dive into the community and benefit that way. And that is through employment and skills, education and work with young people, inward investment as well, and that might be at the very start of a development, say for example when a piece of land becomes available and it has got planning permission to build on it, we'll make sure that we're speaking to the right people to make sure that the supply chain that is on that development is as local as possible to inwardly invest back into Knowsley in the city region. It also is support for local groups and projects as well. So that is your VCSEs and charities and things like that. So we very much matchmake and make sure that we've got a big network of people of support and bring that to the contractors to help them with their social value delivery. So at the moment we've got 21 live developments in Knowsley. Obviously if you are from the area, it is a huge hub at the moment of regeneration, and it is very much needed. It's an area that needs the support and needs the social value delivered through the contracts. And we've got 50 developments in the pipeline as well, going forward over the next few years within the planning system that we'll be supporting social value through. So I just wanted to talk now about how social value supports employment and skills gaps and education and career support, and this is how our relationship has come through again with the Careers Hub. So last year, I'll just show you a few of our stats. Sorry, it keeps skipping forward, bear with me. 106 people were employed locally on the construction sites that we supported in Knowsley, and 97 of those were sustained for a year or longer. 13 apprentices were created and 13 work placements offered, and 8 careers talks as well within the local area. So a lot of that work was done with a lot of the partners that we work with in Knowsley to be able to link with schools and colleges. So I just wanted to go through a few case studies with you as well. So it really shows how our work with the Careers Hub has really helped us to integrate social value, particularly for the skills gap in the area and the careers and education support that schools are very much needed at the moment in the local area, and how that is supported. So one of them is about a construction site management apprenticeship, and this is Callum from Heighton. So he started an apprenticeship with the site team in Arncliffe Road, if anybody knows where that is, where Countryside Housing are building on Plusdane Housing Group on behalf of Plusdane. So Callum used Knowsley Council's dedicated online portal to be able to match with a local employer and developed his apprenticeship through that way. So that's one example of using community partners and delivering social value and bringing it together as a whole. So he's doing really well on site. He's still on site now, and that site is due to complete soon. And hopefully he'll continue to have long-lasting employment with Countryside on not just their Knowsley sites, but developments elsewhere. But he's a local Knowsley resident, so it is such a benefit to him. He's got employment, a higher paid job, and also qualifications as well. So the next example is some work that I did with the lovely Julie, who is part of the Careers Hub. So we kind of joined forces on this one a little bit and put our heads together of how some of the local schools in Knowsley could really benefit from these construction sites that are surrounding Knowsley and within the Knowsley area. It's important to the schools. They have got pupils in there that are in desperate need of aspiration building, talking to them about careers in construction and where that can take them. So the Building Aspirations programme was born, and that was very much in partnership with Jaguar Land Rover and ISG, who are building over there in Halewood. So Julie and I came together with Sinead, who is the social value manager for ISG, sorry. and 150 pupils from the Knowsley area, from Meadow Park Pupil Referral Unit, Finchwood Academy and the Prescott School were supported, and it was an ongoing programme. So the initial step was to go into the schools and provide some careers talks, get them to get a feel for what construction is, what careers paths it can take them to, what kind of money they can earn from it, what skills they need to get into it, and the benefit it can have from them. After that was completed by the ISG team, so their site teams, their project manager, their social value team, their marketing team. Then they were actually invited to the site. So that's just a picture there of some of the students on the site. They got to pop the hard hats on, have a walk around site, talk to the site managers and some of the subcontractors in there about careers in construction. So it was a really good day, and it gives them really hands-on experience of what's going on in the local area at the moment. So this is just a little bit of a touch base really of some of the other stuff that we've been doing, and I just wanted to really promote to you how social value can support education and careers support. It really does foster inclusive learning environments. It means that everybody gets the chance to have that work experience, mentoring and aspiration building. If employers get involved, and particularly within construction like we work within, and we work with quite a lot of the top tier contractors in Knowsley, and to get them involved in some of the schools is just amazing, because they can see where they can go. It goes beyond sort of generational unemployment and aspiration building, and really helps them to understand that they are capable, and it creates an inclusive environment where that is okay to do that, and we invite them to come to the site and take a look at what construction is and how it works. Career support is enhanced through social responsible initiatives. So it offers networking, skill building opportunities. Mentoring programs can come from social value as well, and it really contributes to employer-based work experience as well. So like I've said before, it makes partnerships between educational providers and employees is really important. The social value definitely bridges that gap, particularly working with partners. And if you take that partnership approach and your social value, that will naturally come about. But the benefit here is really for the residents and the students and the people that are going to absolutely benefit from learning more about how they can really improve their lives and can see themselves in a role in construction or a different environment or different industry. It gives them that hands-on experience. So that is it in a nutshell. I just wanted to really be an advocate for social value and how it can improve education and careers and skills gaps within a local area, and how, if you're already doing social value in your contracts, how working with people like the Careers Hub and local partners can really bolster that and really make a difference to the community. So I'm happy to take any questions about social value, construction, or the work that we're doing through the planning system, if you want to. I've also got Sarah Maguire on the call today as well, who's our head of social value, who's been working in Knowsley for 3 years and has really put the stepping points in for all of this work that we're doing now previously, and now we're continuing that as well. So hopefully I'll meet you all at some point in the future, but thank you very much.
Oh, thanks so much, Lauren. That absolutely just backs up everything that we've been saying since the beginning of the employer network, and we actually have got a masterclass that focuses around social value, linked to careers and schools and college outreach, because the benefit is it's just a win-win on so many different levels. We'll make sure we've got the link to that masterclass as well if people want to have a little look back and look at what we focused on for a year. But looking at time, what I want to do for like the maybe next 5 minutes or so is just have a little think about looking forward. What are your goals for engagements with schools and colleges? Is there anything that you'd like to do? Is there any support that you need from us or the extended partnership? or is there stuff that you've already done well and want to improve on? I'd like to think that you've learned about different programmes and activities through the masterclasses, through the network, but is anything that you'd like to find out a little bit more of? From the beginning of this, we've always wanted this network to be employer-led, not us just telling you what we think you should know. So I'm going to open the floor now with them questions. Maybe even take the slides down and give people an opportunity to turn the cameras on, see if people are still here, or even raise your hand, shout out, what have you done that's good, what do you fancy doing in the new year, or if we've got any suggestions about what we could do in the network through masterclasses or beyond. Because if not, we're just going to question Leon about the new lightsaber he got for Christmas. So that means he had an old lightsaber, and we can discuss Star Wars for the next 10 minutes. So over to you guys. I know we've got lots of people who are doing lots of things out there in the community as well, and have done lots of work with the Careers Hub. So over to you. Anyone want to shout out? Put your hand up, stick in the chat. Don't leave me hanging, please.
Go on then, Michelle, I'll speak.
Thanks, Amy.
So hi, I'm Amy from Plus House, and we got a mention on one of those slides as well, which was cool from Lauren. A very small mention, but that's great. Thank you. So we haven't in reality been doing anything with schools for the last year, but we are just about in a couple of weeks to host a visit, which we arranged through the Careers Hub with one of the local colleges that works with children with special educational needs, or young people with special educational needs. So they're coming in to in two groups actually. So we've got 2 different days scheduled in this month and next month for them to come in, have a wee look around the office. They're doing customer service qualifications. So they're going to meet some of our customer service colleagues, have the chance to ask questions. We're going to give them a wee bit of an exercise because I attended one of the masterclasses on this. So we're going to give them a challenge. You know, you're only here for an hour. You've got to go and find out. We haven't decided what those are yet. The meeting's tomorrow to plan that, but you've got to go away and find out these 3 things. So we're really excited about that, and we've got the customer service team involved, and my team is the organisational development team as well.
That's amazing and really exciting. And do you know what brings me like so much joy? That, you know, we're all zoomed out, aren't we, with meetings and things, Willie? And what we've tried to make the employee network is you don't have to be here. People choose to be here. People choose to come along to the masterclasses and to hear that there's been a really positive impact and outcome. That just warms the cockles of my heart.
Yeah. I have to say the masterclass was really good for me. I mean, I come from a learning and development background, so it's not an alien concept for me, but some of the, you know, the concept of being able to give them a bit of pre-work, working with their tutor at the college was the real sort of you know, eye-opener, I guess, for me. So that's what we're working on, and we're really looking forward to it. I think everyone on a personal level is really looking forward to being involved as well.
Amazing. You'll have to report back. We might get you to speak at one of the quarterlies. You give yourself a job now. Jack, you had your hand up first.
Hi there. I tried to do it before, but I don't use Teams very often, so I couldn't work out how to do it. Sorry. It was just really to sort of say, you know, as a essentially a recruitment agency, we often get targeted with enhancing companies' diversity pools or solving their skill shortage issues, which is, you know, not very straightforward and takes a lot of planning rather than, you know, we need 15 people tomorrow and a very diverse pool of candidates. So what I've been trying to do since being a member of this group is try to educate the clients in relation to more of a strategy in how we can solve immediate issues however we need to, but actually look at a more in-depth future proofing and future planning for the sort of next generation of their workforce. And I was really interested in Lauren's was saying about Fusion 21, because JLR are a client, and I'm actually due there in about 3 hours' time. So it'll be a really good opportunity to sort of understand who the point of contact that Fusion 21 have been dealing with, because there's an opportunity, I suppose, for us to link in with our client base as well and see how we can align what we're trying to achieve. And I think there's potentially some real opportunities for us as a supplier and them as an end user to have a joint approach with people that they're engaged with as well.
Yeah, definitely. One of the other things I think Lauren said, Fusion 21 are matchmakers, and I must admit that kind of resonated with us, because I think at the Careers Hub and All About STEM, All About Futures, we would call ourselves matchmakers as well. These sessions are all about joining the dots, to work together, to work smarter, because actually what we're doing is super important, investing in the future, for future skills and future jobs of the future as well. All about the futures. Saffron, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm from AE8, we're a civil engineering company, and it's a similar story to Amy's. So the plans that we have for social value is we're working on Southport Pier, completing the steel surveys. So we've got a college visit, so a local college from Southport. They're coming in, we're explaining what we're doing, a bit more about us, teaching them a bit more about civil engineering, and if the day goes successfully, we might even employ a few of them and take them on as apprentices. Just wanted to share that.
That's amazing. It's a proper try before you buy situation.
Yeah.
And that idea of getting people on site so they can see it. One of the other things, one of the other reasons that we wanted to have this network is because we wanted it to be in our voice and our accent, talking about places that we know. So it's specific to us as a region and the problems we face, the challenges we face, and also the successes that we have as a city region. Loads of chat going on, which is brilliant. Love the Safari are going to look at engaging more with Give an Hour. Love that Philippa is already jumping on that and going, come into Wirral Met, please. Love that. Love that little bit of networking happening in the chat, as always. Okay, so to finish on time, I suppose, Gemma, can you make sure I've not missed anything on the slides? Because
nothing left on the slides. Don't panic. Okay. I'll not put them back up. I'll just leave them on.
I've done that in the past. I've gone off on one, and then there was 3 slides with really important things on that I'd completely forgot to mention. Just to finish off, in the chat or shout out, is there anything, are there any requests, whether it be for masterclasses or speakers at quarterlies? If you can think of something off the top of your head, by all means pop it in the chat. If not, please get in touch. If there's something you want to hear about, whether that be learning from other companies, what other companies are doing. There's so much going on at the moment. So much going on across different sectors. When I looked at Jill's slides this morning, I was like, oh my goodness, like the first 2 slides could have been a whole session, because there is that much, the stuff that's going on around the NHS, the stuff that's going on around game changers, the opportunities we've got for our schools and colleges are only growing, but we can't do that without working in partnership with employers. We talk about it all the time as it being like one big party, and you can't have a party if there's no guests and nobody turns up. We need both sides to be involved. There's people sharing LinkedIn profiles. That is brilliant. Oh, Amy, you've just prompted me. Next masterclass, that's what I need to finish up with. Next masterclass is in February. It's in National Apprenticeship Week. We've got some really good speakers lined up, and I'm going to say, I'm not going to guess what date it is. I'm going to wait for Gemma to prompt and say it is on the.
I've just popped in the chat. It's the 7th of February at 11 AM. I'll be sending the invites out shortly. Everyone.
Also, National Apprenticeship Week, again, there's so much going on. There's so many requests from schools around National Apprenticeship Week, and then we get into National Everything Month. So we have National Apprenticeship Week, we have National.
I'm not sure if Michelle's going a bit funny for everyone else there as well, or whether it's just my.
So big shout out, there's Inter Women's Day. Oh,
right, I'm going to mute her because I don't think
am I back?
hear me.
Have I froze?
What have you? I was just going to say, Michelle, your internet's not good at all. If you want me just to finish up, you're going a bit all over the place there. I think what Michelle was trying to say is that we then get into March, which is British Science Week, and all sorts of different things that happen during that as well. So there's going to be lots and lots of things going on because schools absolutely love a special week or a special day to get involved with. So if you're on the fence about engaging with them, given our round about these sorts of times are the best sorts of times to be doing outreach and engagement, because schools are absolutely desperate to get employers in. So I can definitely recommend get in touch with Charlotte through the links that she's provided, and we'll be able to share absolutely everything with you as well. I'll get copies of the slides and things and the recordings as always. But if you do want something specific to kind of talk about in another session, please just let us know, especially the quarterly meetings. We can be quite flexible about what we put in them. We want it to be what you guys want. So please do just reach out to me via email as well. I think we've covered everything. We will let you start crackling off. I'm going to stop the recording while I remember